It is the wish of every career civil servant to work and rise through the ranks to retirement and enjoy post-retirement life with abundance after a fulfilled career in the civil service. Basically, there are three means of exiting civil service through retirement in Nigeria: after serving for 35 consecutive years, attaining 60 years of age with the exception of academia, and finally, voluntary retirement. Nigeria's 1999 Constitution and Pension Reform Act 2014 are explicit in explaining the right and entitlement that retirees should enjoy after expending their youthful strength in public service. Section 210, subsection 2 of the Constitution explains that any benefit to which a person is entitled in accordance with or under such law as referred to in subsection 1 of this section shall not be withheld or altered to his disadvantage except to such an extent as is permissible under any law, including Code of Conduct. On the other hand, Pension Reform Act 2014 says a retiree on attaining the age of 50 years old or on his or her formal retiring at the contracted retirement age, whichever is later, shall utilize the credit amount in his or her retirement savings account. While gratuity comes in a lump sum, pension retains a monthly trickle, usually for the rest of their lives. Like other states of the Federation, in Bauchi State, retired civil servants are entitled to enjoy such rights and privileges as clearly enshrined in Civil Service Rule, Nigeria's Constitution and Pension Act. However, Bauchi State government and its local government retired personnel are silently dying in their hour of need after giving out their deeds for public service. In this story of the living reality of the life of the elderly, a true relatable, heart-wrenching story of dashed dreams and visions from retirees is told. It chronicles the yearnings and aspirations of senior citizens lost with repugnance. It is a story of frustration, use, and abuse. Once ambitious staffers have now become helplessly despaired and helplessly irrelevant in the scheme of things. Yet, at some point, their bitter stories are laced with determination, resilience, and renewed hope and commitment even when it seems bleak and gloomy. Bauchi State and LGS retirees began to lose hope and queue endlessly for their retirement benefit during Governor Isa Iguda's administration. Payment of gratuities began to deteriorate to these senior citizens shortly after Iguda won a second term in 2011. While Iguda had to his credit an upward review of monthly pension in the state, it is on record that his administration sowed the seed of accumulating gratuities that jeopardized the lives of thousands of retirees and their families, which deprived them of decent life after serving the state and local government civil services. Over 2 billion accumulated gratuities had been accrued at the twilight of his administration, while state resources were expended on frivolities and trivialities. In the 2015 governorship election, Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar emerged as the winner. Abubakar, fondly called MA, who won popular votes from residents of the state, promised, among other things, to tackle pension and gratuity issues to give respite to the retirees. Shortly after, the hopes of the retirees vanished as Governor MA neither solved the problem nor faced the challenge with tact and seriousness it deserved. He added to the existing backlog, which rose to over 27 billion at the end of his administration. Not unexpected from a civil servant-dominated state, while the 2019 gubernatorial election campaign was raging on, issues related to salaries, pensions, and gratuities were at the forefront of the electioneering. The then opposition gubernatorial candidate Bala Abdul Qadir Mohammed Kauram Bauchi castigated Bauchi State Governor M.A. Abubakar for failure to resolve issues around salaries, pensions, and gratuities. Kaura spoke forcefully at election rallies that the then governor deserved sacking for not paying salaries, pension and retirement benefits. Frustrated by their plights, Bauchi retirees alongside other electorate rallied their support around Kauran Bauchi in the 2019 governorship election with the hope and dream that he would bring succor to their plight by offsetting their backlog of gratuities and permanently addressing pension-related crimes. Kauran Bauchi, as governor-elect, vowed,
I will do so many things in the 100 days that will come. I will make sure I pay salaries, I pay pension and gratuity, and employ people, and all the ghost workers in the system are removed, all the vagaries established in order to shortchange the people of Bauchi will be removed, and I will do it in such a manner there is no witch hunting, there is not too much controversy. I will do it quietly and in a manner that there is maturity and there is beauty in governance. Definitely it's a big task that the people of Bauchi have witnessed bad administration, bad governance for 4 years. To come and do something in 100 days is difficult, but certainly the positive impact will be felt, and my duty is to unify the people of Bauchi, irrespective of their political inclination, religious divide, and so on and so forth. This is an opportunity given to me, having been a minister in Abuja for 6 years, and I know governance. I have tasted power and influence. What I'm coming back to do in Bauchi is a service and show of gratitude to the people who have shown me so much love, that in spite of my limitation and inadequacies as a person, as a human being, with minimal resources, they have been able to take me to success.
Thereafter, Governor Bala Mohammed promised to earmark 200 million naira from the state and local government coffers on a monthly basis to reduce the piling up of gratuities in Bauchi State. After a few months of payment, the government could not live up to its obligation. Consequently, according to a top-ranking official of the local government pension board who spoke on condition of anonymity, said today over 5,000 retirees have not been settled, and their accumulated retirement emolument had risen to the tune of over 36 billion naira. Consequently, Bauchi State retirees that have served the state and local government civil services have been languishing in deep trauma, agonizing in perpetual penury, and swimming in an excruciating situation of destitution for years, with only one and single commitment from the political elite, a promise that is yet to be fulfilled. Many retirees who could not afford medical bills, feed their families, and pay school fees for their children, as Malang Isiaku Garba from Azare town of Katagum vividly said, he removed his children from conventional school due to his inability to settle fees.
I removed my children from conventional primary school to Islamia school because I can't afford school fees.
Successive Bauchi State governors have not only neglected the retirees, but also abandoned them to wallow in squalor, penury, destitution, and misery, while the political class live a large life of flamboyance, extravagance, opulence, and affluence, courtesy of state resources. Exchange Hammer Media traverses the nooks and crannies of Bauchi to document the pitiable plight of retirees that has paid their dues in building Bauchi State, while the state is obviously abandoning them, treating them with scorn and indifference. Some retirees share their painful experiences amid excruciating post-civil service careers that withholding their emolument and inflation jointly render to the mercy of friends, families, and associates. In Azare town, the headquarters of Katagum local government, Malam Isiaku Garba, who had been receiving 1/3 of his pension for 22 months, narrated his demoralizing experience.
April 2020.
I retired in 2014. Since 2014, I had been getting my pension until April 2020, when I started getting 1/4 of pension. My pension was 96,000, but I was receiving 28,000 plus. When I complained, I couldn't get a dime for 2 months before I was reinstated. Since then, I got that amount for 20 months before the actual pension was restored in January this year, and I am yet to get the arrears.
Scores of retirees in Azare town who have diligently served in the state civil service have formed a temple of retired civil servants where they share their pains and fears every evening to ease off their upsets.
I worked with Bauchi state government. I retired in February 2015. This is over 7 years and I haven't received my retirement benefit. We are still crying, writing to them. Sometimes I can't even afford exercise book for my school kids. The governor promised to settle us in his first 100 days, but he failed. In fact, I will say he lied to us. I pray that God brings someone that will help us. Pensioners supported him, but he is not reciprocating.
Wadda dai a takaice ma zan ce ƙarya yake. Ƙarya ya mana saboda ya yi ƙarya bai cika ba ya faɗa.
October 2015.
I retired 8 years ago precisely in October 2015. I tried all the means. I visited the board in Bauchi countless times, but we are only told to be patient, that it will be paid. I have 4 wives with 33 children. I rely on God and associates to feed the family. I can't afford school fees. I can't afford school fees now, and sometimes I can't feed the family. Sometimes for 3 consecutive days I can't provide anything for the family. As I am talking to you, there's nothing to eat today in the house. Government should fulfill its promise and pay us our entitlements. I pray other retirees should not pass through what we are going through. We haven't heard anything in the past, but now we are hopeful that the state government will do something about it. There's hope, and we are hoping the government will help us. Some pensioners have this problem while others do not have.
Like Azare town in Katagum LGA, Ningi town has its share of multiple retirees who are suffering from non-payment of their benefits. Hajia Ayu Musa Nuhu said she was forced to retire 2 years prior to her due date, and she remains with neither salary, no pension for over 10 months.
I was retired involuntarily on August 1st, 2019. I had 2 years to be due for retirement. I started work in 1987. Since my retirement, I am yet to get a cup, either as pension or gratuity, and the salary has been stopped since. I don't get pension or salary, don't even talk about gratuity that is not paid in Bauchi State. I have 10 children and 7 grandchildren. Some of them can't even go to school now. I voted Aura over MA because of the issue of gratuity and pension, because MA wasn't paying. We supported him, but he started with me. I want the issue investigated. I want justice.
A sa idanu akan wannan harka tunda ne an datse ni ne akan an ce nayi ritaya.
Other senior citizens couldn't resist telling their tales.
Benefit har yanzu Allah bai sa ya samu ba saboda tun gwamnatin baya ta gabata
my retirement benefit because the last government failed to settle us. They joined hands and voted in Kaura with the hope of getting better treatment. Surprisingly, we are yet to have our gratuities. In 2019 campaign, he used to castigate previous administration for failure to tackle issues of salary, pension, and gratuity. It pains us that he couldn't fulfill the promise yet. Life has been difficult. I have 15 children. Some dropped out from federal police. We can't feed. We can't even farm because there is no money. I called on the governor and his advisors to pay gratuities and pension arrears. We love the governor, but this will affect his politics and election. Money will circulate and there will be economic boom when he pays retirement benefits. We are in difficult situation.
Amma ubangiji Allah bai sa har yanzu ya biya ba, sai dai a ce a watan kaza da mu samu tun June muke expecting din kudi.
Na retire at 2020.
I retired in 2020. I now get monthly pension, but I wasn't paid initially for 18 months. There was no arrears. I retired in March 2020. I was paid pension only in June 2020 and until October 2021 before I started getting pension. Out of 2.3 million gratuity, I was paid 100,000. They always say they will pay, but no date. Governor should endeavor and pay people their benefits because he's a politician. That will enhance his politics.
The story remains the same in this local government area. The sad reality of the once vibrant civil servant can only be recollected with a heavy heart, as life is no longer a pleasant reality, as Hajia Adam Adabu, a retiree managing diabetes, narrates her ordeals.
Ana cewa ana bayarwa daga shekara kaza zuwa kaza. To, mu ba mu kai ma state din ba ma da.
I retired in 2016. I thank God I have been getting my pension. Only 4 months after the retirement that I neither got the pension nor arrears. I am yet to get my gratuity. I did not approach anyone because I heard they were paying in batches. In the past, shortly after my retirement, I started pushing to get my benefits, but I was told I had to give them 10% of the money. I said I couldn't. I will wait for God's time if we are alive. Things have become worse off now. I heard of a retiree that was given 50,000 as part payment of her 2 million naira benefit. We are finding life difficult, especially at this moment. I am suffering from some diseases. I am a diabetic patient. I am hypertensive. I suffer from ulcer, so life is really difficult for me. We often hear that the governor is compassionate. I pray that he should show us his compassion before the end of his administration, so that I can settle some pressing issues. But if we can't, maybe our children will benefit when we are dead. I don't have anyone to push for me.
Barrister, there is this issue of pension and gratuity in Bauchi State that has become so much a lingering problem in the state, whereby a civil servant will retire from the service of state and local government, but they will end up spending up to a decade or more without getting his or her benefits. Now, from the legal perspective, what does the Nigeria's Pension Act says about payment of pension, for example, and gratuity?
Now, even the act together with the constitution, which is the ground non spelled in pronounced in section 173 sub 1 and 2, that such benefits should not be withheld against or to the disadvantage of any pensioner. So the section encourages, even though it's an act which involves the application generally in the country, but coming down to the state and local government is so almost applicable. The pension shall be or must be paid as at when due, and such must not be withheld to the disadvantage of the pensioner.
Okay, does the law provide, for example, a stipulated time frame within which a person or retiree should be paid his money? Let's say, for example, after like 10 months or 1 year after your retirement.
You are talking of gratuity or pension.
Gratuity, for example.
Gratuity, there is no time frame, but everything will be reasonable. The common man or the general public will know what is very reasonable, and there is always a reasonable time. So you cannot withhold or withheld pension for over 10 months and you think it will be reasonable. Paying promptly, they say that there is nothing, there is sweet after labor. So they must be paid as at when due. Whether if it is 1 month, 1 week, it has to be prompt. There is no stipulated time, but it has to be prompt and it has to be reasonable.
Okay, on that issue of gratuity, now I have a discussion with so many people, so many retirees in different different local government in the state. For example, in Das local government, in Ningi local government, in Katagun local government, and so many of them, have said they have retired since as far back as 2012. Now, if you look at it, it's like 10 years now, and up to now, their gratuity was not paid, and there was no any reasonable explanation as to why the delay and when they're going to be paid. So now, in this case, does the law allow them, for example, to institute legal action, legal tussle against the government?
Before going to the answer, I want to say or state that most likely that you are very lucky to have me, that I was for the past decade their lawyer, their counsel. I used to write so many letters to government. We have written so many to the officials requesting them to settle those gratuities and pension, but they refuse. It's not the negligence abandon this duty, and we cannot say that it is only this government. It could be traced back to the period of or the administration of Isa Iguda coming down.
The issue became completely complicated.
That is where the amount completely accumulated. So what we are saying is that, coming to the question properly, that no law can prevent a litigant or an aggrieved party to go to the court, whether it is pension or non-pension law. Any aggrieved party can approach the court. That's the easiest way, and that is the legal way to approach and get your redress. So I don't think I cannot make generalization, but I don't think there is any law that can prevent a pensioner from seeking his right, or when he is aggrieved, they can go to industrial court. The court used to be very proactive, and they can get judgment on what they want if they can fully prove their case.
So, in essence, as a lawyer of this retirees associate, in the last 10 years or so, what were the responses to the letters, to the complaints, to the requests you have been sending on behalf of your clients?
The responses are, they are politicians, and the responses are normal and they look alike.
The administrative that we are working,
that they will like. That is the promises. I wouldn't know if they were fed at last, but some people, when they receive their payment, I wouldn't know. But to my knowledge, for the past 10 years, there is no reasonable gratuity which is fed to those pensioners. They used to pay pension sometimes, and as with complaints with the salaries, it has their own complaint too. But about gratuities, seriously, we cannot say that.
Yes, I can say the government is doing its best to settle not only the amount that accrued during this administration, even the previous administrations. The issue of pension has been lingering for a long time, but the government is trying to take the bull by the horn. So we are now arranging with the PENCOM, that is National Pension Commission, to see how to get the whole bulk of the money, more than 40 billion naira, to settle all this loaded pension and the gratuity. So it's going to be settled. Actually, the process is on. So many committees have been formed by the government, and the government is trying actually to pressurize the committee to do all that they can do to conclude it within time, so that money will be available for the PENCON and the other engaged pension administrators. And hopefully this thing is about to come to an end actually.
Okay, like how many people are expected to be settled? How many people that are owing the gratuity?
The gratuity is actually involve so many people. It's not only the state pension board, there is local government pension board. But that committee that we're working actually involves the state and the local government. That is why we are now trying to form a pension commission, which will involve all the state and the local government boards in it. So I cannot say what is the number for the beneficiaries in the local government scheme. But in the state scheme, we have about 5,000 people
5,000
yes,
that are waiting to get
waiting.
settled.
Yes, that is why the government decided to actually go for the real, to involve the National Pension Commission to see that this money has been released for all to benefit, and that is to settle the issue of this pension once and for all.
What is the total of the entitlement?
As far as the state pension board is concerned, the money is close to 30 billion.
30 billion.
Yes. Yes. And
excluding the local.
Yes. So the money now being sought by the government from the pension commission will involve all the state and the local government beneficiaries.
In the past, there was an attempt by the Bauchi government. It started giving out at least 100 or so million naira in Bauchi to settle part of the gratuity. So that obviously started, and along the line, it will not be continued.
Yes.
So that means this grand plan will now take over from where that plan initially stopped.
Yes. That is the reason why that release of 100 million, 200 million was stopped, because the state and the local government pension commission are fully engaged in trying to get this bulk sum of money to see that everything is settled.
How soon these retirees will smile to the bank?
I cannot say, but I know the arrangement is in advanced stage. It's almost as a concluding point. So, but I cannot.
This is legislative local government pension board, the body that is responsible for all issues related to pension and gratuity in local government areas of the states. I've come here several times to meet with authorities to get their response on the issues that people have raised across the states. Fortunately, I met the permanent secretary for the first time almost 2 days ago. After shooting him for 3 days, he said he would be what the chairman would be the appropriate person to talk to me. So he gave me his contact that I should be calling him to book an appointment. For almost 2 weeks now, I was unable to secure an appointment with the chairman, and he was not really making me call at the moment. So, however, an insider who re-echoed what was confirmed by the State Pension Board said the state government is working towards solving the problem through the newly elected Bauchi State and Local Government Contributory Pension Act 2022, which will allow the state alongside its partners to settle the retirees. With an onslaught from retirees themselves and the capitalization on the Achilles heel by the opposition to repay Governor Bala Muhammad in his own coins, the state governor, through the head of civil service, Alhaji Yahuza Adamu, announced the approval of 500 million naira recently to reduce the backlog of gratuities in the state. The head of civil service disclosed this to journalists in Bauchi shortly after an extraordinary meeting of the State Executive Council presided over by Governor Bala Muhammad. It is a ray of hope. It symbolizes a flicker of light in the pool of darkness, an oasis of divine-induced faith and hope in the expansive desert of despair and bleakness, as chairman of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Bauchi State Chapter, Alhaji Aliyu Orogo, said they are hopeful that the government will settle their members. On the issue of gratuity, if I may start with it, started from the past governors. This governor inherited the problem, but he must take the burden because government is a system. We are lucky he started releasing certain amount on monthly basis to settle the backlog. We are hopeful the issue will be addressed. As a beneficiary of his predecessor's mismanaged opportunity in 2019, pension and gratuities will also serve as a litmus test to the incumbent in 2023. For 2 election cycles of 2015 and 2019, issues related to salaries, pensions and gratuities have shaped and influenced electoral choices in Bauchi. Yet, the issues appear to have defied solutions so far. With Bauchi as a politically sophisticated state, can Governor Bala Muhammad survive the public anger and attendant opprobrium caused by his unfulfilled promises on pension and gratuity in the forthcoming 2023 gubernatorial election? Will the governor fulfill his promise prior to the forthcoming governorship election? Can the newly enacted Contributory Pension Act perform the magic and provide a plausible solution to the lingering problem? These questions can only be answered fairly from now to the first quarter of 2023, when Bauchi residents will go to polling booths to exercise their civic democratic rights.